eminent scholars, efficient colleagues, and my beloved friends. At this juncture of Consolium 2K21, it gives me extreme pleasure to address you guys on the subject media activism in fascist-driven India, which is of utmost relevance in the modern democratic India. My dear Chief Justice of India, thank you for your most pertinent observation that the concept of investigative journalism is unfortunately vanishing from the media canvas. When we were growing up, we eagerly looked forward into newspapers exposing big scandals. The newspapers never disappointed us. These are the first lines of a letter written by senior investigative popular journalist P. Sainath in an open letter to Supreme Court Chief Justice N.V. Ramana's observation that investigative journalism is disappearing in the country. The Chief Justice of India rightly observes that investigative journalism is vanishing in India. The serious consequences these days are for the media and journalists doing such stories, and even for those doing straight reporting. Siddiq Kapan, who was arrested on his way to Hathras to meet a family of gang rape victim in that appalling atrocity of Uttar Pradesh, has now languished in jail for over a year, unable to get his bail, watching his case bouncing from one court to another, while his health swiftly deteriorates. My dear gentlemen, for about 30 years, Indian media are politically free but imprisoned by profit. Today, they remain imprisoned by profit itself, while some few independent voices amongst them are politically imprisoned nowadays. It is crucial to note, is it not, that there is so little discussion within the media itself of the awful state of media freedom. 4 leading public intellectuals, all of them connected to journalism, have been assassinated in this past few years. Of these, veteran journalist Gauri Lankesh, who was full-time media person, and of course Shujat Bukhari, the writer, editor of Rising Kashmir, also fell into the bullets of gunmen. Narendra Dabolkar, who founded and edited a magazine Fighting Superstition, which he ran for almost 25 years. M.M. Kalburgi and Govind Pansar were prolific writers and columnists in news media. On the other aspect, the Jain media owners are making a lot of money from the paid news, obtaining licenses for the exploitation of public owned resources. From the government privatization orgies, handing over 1,000 crores of public property to them, who handsomely fund the election campaign of ruling party, are unlikely to permit their journalists to upset their partners in power. Anyway, having reduced a once proud Indian occupation to just a revenue stream, often smudging the distinction between real estate and fourth estate, they have no appetite towards the journalism that speaks the truth about power. Dears, today a large part of Indian news media has been captured by fascist interest. A hate-filled narrative is being spread by television channels, WhatsApp forwards, and false news. The right-wing media, which devotes its most of working hours to government, has distorted the main aims of NRC and the peasant struggle and turned the Indian media into cramped space for Republic TV. And the Arnabs who seek to please the government, who are we to blame for these facts? I won't prolong. I would like to conclude by saying that it's impossible to conduct investigative journalism in fascist India, that there is only role for independent journalists on the map of democratic India. Thank you. Wa akhir da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.